Hi, everyone. I'm really excited because this is my very first episode interviewing a guest on Ready, Set, Rise. Remember the first episode I was interviewed, but I'm super excited for this first guest. I want to say welcome to Ready, Set, Rise. Real stories, life lessons, and inspiration to help you rise higher. And it's about inspiring, uplifting, and empowering. The question is going to flow naturally between his music and his holistic coaching. Today's guest is Renzo Gonzalez. He's Venezuelan born, Trinidadian raised singer, songwriter, performer who has been involved in entertainment for many years. Please help me welcome Lawrence Gonzalez Adams, fondly known as Mr. Renzo. Welcome to Ready, Set, Rise. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. Had a busy day today, but thank God for life. Thank God for allowing me to do what I love to do, and also allowing me to be in your amazing show.
Well, you're my very first guest on this episode. And the last time we spoke, I was really touched by how inspiring you were. And then I found out you are a holistic coach. So I want you to share a bit of your journey from Venezuela to Trinidad and Tobago and how both cultures have shaped who Mr. Renzo are today.
Okay, well, I was born in Venezuela. I grew up in Trinidad. I moved to Trinidad, well, as a baby, and I'm practically Trinidadian. Everything about me is Trinidad, even my accent. I have Venezuelan roots, Venezuelan blood, Venezuelan temper. But I'm pretty much a split between the two worlds, Venezuelan and Trinidad, and I've incorporated it in my music for over 21 years, being an artist, and traveled the world, Colombia, Venezuela, Panama, Costa Rica, uh, different parts of the United States. Never been to Europe before, but that is part of the question to enter to Europe and target that side of music. But as for me as a person, I'm very quiet, uh, very oriented, and a lot of people misinterpret it for being too much into myself, which is true. I'm pretty much like a home guy, you know. I love to be home. I love to be spending time with my family and enjoy any moments, special moments with my family. Because when it comes to the musical journey now, it's very hectic, very time consuming, and cause a lot of stress. So I just cherish every moment with my family.
Yeah, and I know you just became a dad to a baby girl, and you also have a
Yeah,
son. And I
yeah.
can imagine when you're busy with music, you're all over the place. So when you get that time to spend with your family, that's exactly where you want to be, spending time with your family.
Of course, and I'm so grateful because even though you may not see me out much as an artist, I'm very much appreciating the time with my kids, seeing like different stages from birth to when they first crawl to when they're talking. I'm just enjoying the moment, and it's just an amazing feeling to experience that, something that I never ever experienced or thought about experiencing in my life. And I actually got the pleasure of being a dad in that role and seeing different stages of growth.
Yeah, and speaking about growth and just feeling happy, what role does gratitude play in your daily life as a singer, as a dad, as a holistic coach? How important it is for us and people to understand how it is to be grateful and what role does being gratitude play in your life?
Gratitude means everything to me. You can't expect things to happen in your life. Um, and we as humans, we always want, but we're not grateful for the things that we have already. And I always tell my clients, appreciate what you have already, see the things what you already have already, because we bypass all of these things and we lose appreciation for the most simplest things in life. And we so much focus on the material things in life that we forget about the togetherness with your family. We see family fighting each other over money, and it's a sad thing. But for me as an individual, I always put gratitude first, being grateful for life, for health, for strength, for prosperity, for peace, for happiness, for family, and everything else will come after that because you're a mirror of your reality. What you give, you receive. So how you expect to receive if your mindset is negative
Mm-hmm.
or unappreciative? So I always teach people that you must be appreciative of what you have already in order to receive more things because it is a cycle. What you give, you receive.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things you have to offer to people is your great talent, your music. And when you write your music, what message or feeling do you hope people walk away with?
Well, I have different stages of my career, different ways of expression because music is an expression by itself. So it's how you really express yourself at that moment.
Hmm.
And the people actually feel what you're expressing. So for the past 20 something years, my music basically been more party oriented. I had a couple, one or two tracks that were like love and stuff, but everything is based on your feeling and your vibration. And right now, my message in the music is more motivational stuff. So I'm doing more motivational music. So if you check back from Carnival 2023, 2025, sorry, I released a track called Heavens, and it's a very motivational, inspiring track. And that is what I want to do in my journey in the music industry is to touch people different way, more sentimental way. That whenever you're going through down periods in your life, you could listen to this and you could actually feel the vibration of the lyrics, not
Hmm.
just the beat alone, but just the lyrics and the vibe behind it, so that you could live with it for the rest of your life. And that is what I'm doing. I'm making music with longevity rather than just hype and 2 months and then everyone forget about it. I want music that will last a lifetime, generations after generations.
So, do you see music itself as a form of healing or holistic practice? People could feel great when they listen to a song like Heavenly.
Your music generally is a healing method, because we could go through very stressful times and we put on a track, say for instance, a party track,
Hmm.
and it changes your mood. You feel happy. So music has different moods. They have you have songs that are sad songs, songs that you coming out of a breakup, you listen to that. You have songs that in every state of your emotions have music for that. And I'm more or less tapping into more that feel of it than rather than just releasing music that will last 2 months or 3 months. I think it'll pay off better for me because I'm not getting any younger, and I want my kids to actually pattern my way of living. I'm not a perfect man either. I made a lot of mistakes and still making mistakes up to today. But with music now, I can express myself differently in that aspect of things.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what led you into holistic coaching and how does it connect with you and a life as a singer? What led you into holistic coaching?
All right, so I've been a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master for the past 16 years, but I never advertise it. I was always is more or less reference. So my mom, who's a popular psychic in the Caribbean, she
Oh,
will refer clients to me, and I will just see about it. But I never really advertise it until early on this year, as I was going through a very personal event in my life, and I was feeling down and depressed. And I was driving one day, and I saw a sign called Reiki Healing. Call this number. So I called the number, just a random person doing Reiki. I went to that person, felt like $1 million after, and the Reiki master was like, you're Renzo, right?" I say, "Yeah." You did you did Reiki on my daughter about 15 years ago, and she passed all her exams. She excelled in her career now, and because of you, I'm doing Reiki, and that motivated me instantly. I was like, God sending me a message to continue this path. Don't give it up. But sometimes in life, when you separate yourself from things, that is when you get the answer. Not when you just holding on and being living life in resistance. So that is like something that I always live by. Always sometimes in life you have to let go and let God, and God will give you the answer. So that is what happened at that time. And then also I did a interview talking about the holistic side of things, and I remember the director of the show and the secretary of the show. When I left the interview, were in tears. They were like, you could feel like they were going through pain, and that interview touched them in a different way. So I feel like I have a different purpose in life, not just a singer, but I also want to express my music in that aspect so that people could feel that energy and feel like they're being healed while listening to my music, not just being a Reiki master or a holistic mindset coach.
So explain to me, what is a Reiki master?
Well, Reiki is a Japanese form of healing energy. It goes back over 100 years, and it's basically by placing your hands on your clients, and the energy flows, and wherever energy flows, energy goes, so that it balances your chakras, and you feel like you have that amount of energy and motivation to move forward. But doing Reiki is one thing, but the mindset after is another thing too. So it's basically, I always tell my clients, when you go to do alignment for your car, you don't expect to drive the same way how you used to drive before, to like a bad driver. You expect to improve your driving skills. So it's about maintaining the level of frequency. So you have to put in the work mentally. So you wake up every morning, you give out your gratitudes, thank God for life, health, strength, prosperity, love, peace, happiness. Sometimes I let people do their affirmations. So, the I ams are like the word of God. So I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am prosperous. And you repeat that in your mind and you program your mind so that you set your day in a positive way. Because we all operate off of a program from our childhood. So our parents program our mind a certain way. So we could be going through traumatic experiences that we live in until now, and we don't even know where the root of the problem was, and then we see in life just happening over and over the same way, the same cycle. But then we become victims. We feel like we're a victim, not knowing that we created that outcome mentally because we put out that energy. So we creating that. So what I help do is also help rewire your mind. So um, come out of the negative thinking and the negative thought into looking at life a different way, in a more positive way.
So, in your experience, what's one simple practice anyone can do to boost their mindset? Because it's so important to have a positive mindset. What can
Uh-huh.
they do to boost their mindset and energy daily?
Well, the number one thing I always tell my clients is to find the things that you love the most in life. Find your passion,
Mhm.
because how you expect God to give you what you want if you don't even know what you want? Basically that. So you have to know what you want exactly, what you want to benefit in life before asking for anything, because you just continue getting nothing because you don't know what you want. So I always tell my clients to know what you want, focus on what you want with a passion, and that way now when you see time pass and you realize 24 hours just passed like 2 minutes, that means that you're passionate about some things. So once you enter into that state of mind of finding what you love, that's the number one step to receiving success in your life in different forms, whether it's relationship, whether it's career, whether it's your studies. You must know what you want first. And knowing what you want first is basically love it. You have to love yourself first,
Mhm.
and you have to find the love internally. So it's not just looking at love externally, because externally is just looking at it in a physical realm, rather than the internal realm now is the spiritual realm,
Yeah.
which is beyond what your eyes could see. So
Mhm.
once you enter to that state of mind now, you then see life differently. You see life in a whole holistic way of of just everyone is connected. Everyone has a reason to be in your life, and we look at life differently than just blaming others. No, this person causes some of my life. That's why my life like that, and we're not seeing it like if we are the ones creating it.
Correct. Yeah, and a lot of folks always tend to look outward rather than inward. And we also
Yeah.
have people who possibly looking onto this and they just feel stuck. If you have to give advice to someone who feels stuck in their life right now, what would it be?
Well, feeling stuck, I will always say, is some chapter of your life you're holding on to still. So you have to do a self-analysis. You have to figure out yourself what it is causing this. So we, as humans, we tend to focus more on the effect than the cause. And you cannot cure an effect with another effect. So you have to find the cause and the solution before, seeing things in a different way. So you have to find and do a self-analysis and say, why it is I'm like this? Why am I depressed? And just look back into time and look back why that happened. And even for me, for instance, for example, I realized certain blockages in my life. It was because I created it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And that came from childhood. I remember as a child, the old school way of punishment, your parents used to beat you with a belt. So my dad used to beat me with a belt nonstop for me to read it properly because I had problems reading. And that caused me to be the best reader in the class, but also put a lot of fear
Mm-hmm.
in speaking in front of an audience because I always feel like the audience will be punishing me if
Oh,
I don't do it properly. So that's like a trauma that I've been living with for some time. And then it took me a while to figure it out. And I remember going to school now, QRC. I was very scared to even read, say, for instance, that essay. I
yeah.
used to be like shaking like this. And I used to be sweating profusely. And all of that stemmed from that chapter of my life where my dad brought fear into my life.
Yeah.
So that also brought a little bit of separation growing up with me and my dad
Mm-hmm.
until right before he died, I became closer to him and saw him in a different way, and I forgive him. And he also apologized to me too. He also remembered that part of why he did that too. But that was just like old school way of punishment. So I
Yeah.
didn't really think of it as he was the worst dad ever or anything like that. But that was like how I was brought up now. But I brought up with that fear of facing the public because of that now.
And now
So
you're a singer and you're on stage.
yeah.
Do you still feel that way or you've overcome that
No,
fear?
I feel like free when I'm performing. I actually feel like that is the freest place I can ever be, even freer than being by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like an amazing thing when you figure out the problem and you find the solution to the problem and you deal with it and you accept it and you forgive that episode and you move past that episode. That is when you get the internal healing. But a lot of the times we live with this during the entire life. And then we pass it on to our kids. And then our kids recycle that energy and it goes on and on and on. So we really have to find the root of the problem first.
Yes.
And without finding the root, there won't be no solution because we don't know what the root is.
Mhm.
So it's like you get a deep you get a cut in your hand. Um, Sometimes we have wounds that are very deep. That takes a lot of work to heal that wound.
Mhm.
And it doesn't just happen overnight. So time also is a healer. So it's not just like we expect things to happen overnight. We just have to be patient and just allow to just put in the work and just continue to think positive and look at life a different way instead of just everyone is against you now, which is what I used to live like that. I used to live like this one fighting me down, this one don't want to play my music, and it's really and truly me creating that in myself.
Mhm. Yeah.
Until one point I was just like, you know what, I have to just let go of that not making no sense. That just pulling me back in my life. So we have to stop living life as we are the victims and accept it as we are the creators of why this is happening. And through the presence of God within yourself, you find the root of it and you move past it.
Yeah. And we're coming down to the last couple of questions for this episode. Now, how do you personally rise each day? Do you have like a morning ritual that you start off with to set the tone for your day?
Um, my rituals mostly program right before I go to sleep.
Okay.
When I wake up, I just wake up with a gratitude. So I say my gratitudes and I just set the tone of my day because right before you sleep, that is when you're really programming a day, for the next day.
Mhm. Tell
So
me.
because your mind is still awake while we think that we are fully asleep, but our mind still works while we are asleep.
Mhm.
And that's like the most crucial part of the reprogramming or the programming of your mind. So I make sure right before I sleep, I try to connect myself to the level of God. So I look at myself as how could I connect to God on that level? So I say I unlock the secret closet of my soul and I shut the door close. I shut out every negative thought and I think on the good reality of God within me. And I say right here, right now, I I step upon the theater of my mind and I look upon the stage of my imagination. And then I say, look what I see, look what I feel, look what I know, look what I believe in, look what I'm certain of. I see and I feel my divine self. I see and I feel the divine power within me as a happy person, as a healthy person. I only spreads joy wherever I go. The mind of God in me leads me from success into greater success. So I put that in my mind as a ritual, and it helps me tremendously. And I actually see results like that.
That's really impressive. Is it something you're also going to be teaching your kids to do?
Yeah, well, I'm training my kids from early, but also I learned that from I don't know if you ever heard about Reverend Ike.
I believe so.
Yeah, so that was one of Reverend Ike's prayer that actually stuck to me, but I kind of adjusted it in a different way. Um, and I add I see, I feel, I know, I believe, and I'm certain, instead of saying I see it alone,
Mhm.
because you have to be certain what you want in order for God to give you what you want, really and truly. So I add different elements to improve it in my favor. And it connects to all my clients. Like before I do my Reiki section, I actually say that. And it actually put them into a more meditative zone. Like they feel like they're actually in connection with God, like God is right here. Which is true. God is internally, it's not like an external thing alone.
So they say in the power of manifestation, it's similar to where you just don't say what you want, but you have to believe it within. So it's
Yeah,
something like what you're saying. It's not just saying it, but it's also coming from within. And
yeah,
it's important to feel it as well. And what I meant was, are you going to be instilling this thought process in your children, which is a great thought process? Do you see yourself teaching them this knowledge about how to be positive and how to like have the negative thoughts stay out?
yeah. Of course, of course. I mean, that is my journey. Not just my kids, but for the entire world. Whoever I approach, I want to help them in that aspect of things to see life a different way. And emotions comes from your heart. Without energy with motion, it wouldn't be transferred into a vibration, and then the vibration won't be transferred into a frequency, and then the frequency won't be transferred to your reality. So it all has to come from your heart. It has to come with emotion. So whatever you want in life, make sure you're emotionally connected, because your mind go through between 6,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, but not all 60,000 thoughts are going to manifest. Only the emotionally charged ones. And emotionally charged thoughts are the ones that you're most obsessed over. So you could be obsessed over just negative thinking or fear, those things in a daily basis. And we just creating events and situations that are approaching us negative. But then again, life is an interpretation of life itself. So is a perception. Sometimes we see something negative, but it's actually something positive.
Yeah, yeah.
When we look back from, like, say for instance, if negative experience happened today, if I look back 5 months from now, I will say, wow, this really happened for a good reason. This was a transition, and I looked at it a different way. So it's how you look at things too. What you look at negative, and you have to switch it off, or turn the switch and misinterpret it a different way. So it's like you're driving, you get a flat tire. Um, Most of the times we're gonna stop, and we're gonna feel like upset about something, or be like, oh gosh, this is the worst day ever. Why this happening to me? Oh gosh, and then not knowing that that could actually be a prevention of an accident that was about to take place.
Right.
So it's how you interpret it now. So I could interpret it a negative way, and that will just have my whole entire day feeling bummy and negative. Or I can interpret it in a positive way where I see like God was preventing me from an accident.
And that's a powerful mindset to have because then
Yeah,
you choose what you wanna internally digest, right? Either you want to
yeah,
be stressed or you want to say, well, you know what? Thank you, God. I'm grateful. Maybe you were preventing me from a future accident. And when we calm our mind, we look better, we feel better, we live
yeah.
longer. And this is why I wanted to interview you because you're so positive. You have so much to share. And I just love speaking with you and learning so much. And our audience, you're getting so much information that you can use in your everyday life to have a better life so we can all rise together. And Mr. Renzo, I really enjoyed my time with you, interviewing you, getting to know you, you spreading your knowledge with our audience. But what's next for you musically and spiritually, or even personally? What's next for you?
Well, I'm still studying. I'm actually studying too. So I just finished studying positive psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I just got my certificate on that. So I'm just continuing my studies and enhancing my brain, because lack of knowledge is a lack of a low level of frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So lack of knowledge is a lack of awareness of yourself. So I just studying and trying to improve myself in a better way so I can pass it on to others and help motivate others in that way. And also my music too is going to be more um, positive or motivational stuff. Not to say I'm not going to do the party stuff
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that, but that is my next mission, because as artists now, you want to feel free, and you want to feel like you're capable of doing anything, and I don't want to feel like someone is categorizing me as a Latin artist or a soca artist or just a Caribbean artist. I want to be categorized as an artist that creates music
Mm-hmm.
for moments. So my moments will be to help motivate others. So even with the genre and all, it's gonna sound different too. It's gonna be a different genre also that I'm tapping into. And this was something that I have written down for like 20 years ago, that I'm actually gonna release a new song and that side of things. And I mean, I feel so free.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is the first time in my life I feel like I'm a free artist. And imagine I was never signed to any label or anything like that, but you still feel like you owed the public something.
Yes.
But this time now I feel like I owed myself this,
Mm-hmm.
because I always used to do music just to please the public before pleasing myself. And when that happens now, you lose yourself, because you end up believing that your world doesn't matter, and you just living in their world and their planet alone. And then whenever they're not happy, you're not happy.
Yeah.
But the happiness, you have to find it within yourself first. So I changed the whole concept now of doing music where I have to be happy first. I
Yeah.
have to make myself happy now. So I transmit that energy on to the others so that they feel happy too, instead of looking at the other way around.
Well, beautifully said. And we're going to really, really stay connected and follow you on social media. I want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your music and your thoughts
Thank
with
you.
us. We appreciate you. And Mr. Renzo, we will catch up soon.
All right, no problem. And look out for my new single dropping very soon. The name of it is On Top of the World. I will be dropping some teasers on my Instagram, Mr. Renzo Music, TikTok, Instagram, my YouTube channel too. Also, you could follow my other YouTube channel, which has to do with the holistic side of things,
Mhm.
Lawrence Ricky. And I also have it on Instagram and TikTok. So follow me on that too.
I will tag all of that information. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.